My name is Doreen LaBelle. I'm here to do an interview with my uncle, my father's brother, Bill LaBelle. And Uncle Bill, will you tell him how old you are, when your birthday is?
My birthday is January 26th. I was born in 1908. One score and 8 years after General Douglas MacArthur.
And where were you born?
Champlain,
And
at home.
Oh, who was your mother?
Hmm?
What was your mother's name?
Exilda,
Exilda.
Duquette LaBelle,
And your father's name?
Joseph.
And what do you remember your grandfather?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Tell us
Lived
about
on Moore
Moses.
Street with my aunt Lenore Portree. He
And-
lived there when he died. Around 19. I remember in 1918, seeing him 1919. He died, I think, 1920. I'm not sure, but around that time.
Now, are we talking about Moses Duquette?
No, I was talking about my grandfather, Joseph.
Joseph. Okay, how about your grandfather, Moses Duquette?
Well, never knew he died in 1904, I think,
1904?
long before I was born.
And where was he buried? Do you know that?
He might be buried in Saint Edouard, I believe.
And in Canada, right?
Yeah.
And your grandmother, was she living? Did you ever get to see her?
I knew her. She, in fact, she used to spend the winter with us, Champlain here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like her?
Yeah, she was okay. Yeah, she was a little women, you know, not very big. They weren't. My mother wasn't big either.
Okay.
You don't remember my mother too well, do you?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And how old was your grandmother, Duquette, you know, when she
She
died?
would died at 86.
She was 86.
Right. It says right on that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Do you remember,
Yeah.
do you remember the month that she died in?
No, I don't remember that. No.
You don't?
She might have. But we went over there. I went to school over there. I think in 1920, in the fall, for about 3 months. She was sick. We thought she was going to die. My mother wanted to be there. But and around after Christmas, we moved back
To Champlain?
to Burlington.
To Burlington,
We were
Vermont.
living in Burlington then. And she died sometime after that.
And your grandmother is buried in Canada too, right?
Yeah.
Your grandmother and grandfather buried together?
As far as I know,
Do
yeah.
you know where in Canada?
It must be in Saint Edouard. I think that's the parish she belongs to.
Okay, we maybe can research that and find out,
Uh-huh.
as long as we know the dates. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? You know where you were born, how many brothers you had?
How many brothers? Who had?
You had.
I had 3 brothers.
And their names?
Clarence, Euclid, Clarence, and Adelard.
And your sister?
My sister Virginia. See, my father got away from all these Josephs all the time. Joseph, this, everybody was Joseph.
I know it, right. Were you named after a relative or a family friend?
Who?
Were you named after anybody?
Not that I know of, no. My brother Adelard was married, named after my uncle Adelard.
Uh-huh.
And Lord Duquette.
Okay, you have a nickname though, right?
Bill.
Bill.
Everybody called me
Right.
Bill.
Right. Who gave it to you?
I don't know, just
You
it
remember
just
that?
grew on me, I guess.
Did your brothers and your parents like to tell you any funny or embarrassing baby stories about you?
No.
No, you don't remember anything like that about your family when you were growing up?
About what?
Anything in your family? Do you remember any stories that you can tell us about when you were growing up?
Not too many of them, no.
No?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Now you know your father died and he's buried in what cemetery?
Up on Prospect Street, but we don't know where he is. Never found out. Nobody was able to figure out where he's buried.
Well, I understood he was next to the vault up there, right?
When the funeral, I went up there during the funeral. I wasn't very old, about 4 years old, and they went up there from the front. Now they expanded the cemetery, and there was a vault in the back. And as far as I can remember, he was buried right down to the side of the vault.
Okay.
But I asked Bob Venn when he was at charge of that. He didn't know exactly where. He couldn't find it.
Okay. What do you remember the most about your mother?
She was a hard worker.
Hard worker.
Well, she worked.
And how did she support you when you were growing up?
Work. 50 cents a day. Taking and washing, anything, or doing housework. She brought up the whole family.
And she
like
worked for different people,
that.
right? In
The Nyes, the
Canada, I
Whitesides,
suppose.
the Averils.
Do you have anything that belongs to your mother?
No, I don't have nothing. When your father moved out, he left everything there, or I don't know what he did with it.
Where did your parents meet? Do you know that?
I don't know.
You
Well,
don't-
I think my mother probably, when they were young girls, she was a young girl, around 15 years old. The whole family moved down to Providence, Rhode Island,
Right.
and they worked there for 7 years in the factories,
In the factories.
in cotton mills, I guess. And all the money went into a kitty. After the end of 7 years, they moved back to Canada and they bought a farm. They bought a farm from my Uncle Delore. They bought a farm for my Uncle Napoleon.
Wow. That
See,
was
well, all
something.
that money, them days the land wasn't that valuable. But all the money they earned in 7 years.
They saved it all and
everything-
bought all homesteads, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what my mother was telling me.
What is the most
The only
enjoyable?
one that profited about it was the boys. The girls never got much.
What is the most enjoyable memory of time spent with your mother?
The what?
The most memorable time, that you enjoyed with your mother.
Well, we enjoy me working. I remember cranking a washing machine outdoors for her, one of
Yeah.
these wooden ones.
Yeah.
And I would go in 4 or 5 miles into Canada picking up blackberries. I'd leave at 6 in the morning, walk over there, then come back with 35, 40 quarts of berries, then selling them for 5 cents a quart.
Now, what is it you think that was the most valuable lesson that your mother taught you?
Work and how to handle money.
Work and how to handle money. That's good. Let me just go on to a few things. What is your most personal memories of them? You remember your...
Well, the thing I'll never forget is when we left there, and it was April 1st in 1918, and there was snow on the ground. And we stopped at the bridge down the village, and there was a guy on the bridge, George Gamache, who was watching the pikes coming.
And we moved to so-and-so
Well,
in
we're going down, we left
1918.
Champlain, April 1st, 1918. Then when we just came down to the bridge, there was an individual there, George Gamache, looking to see if there's any fish coming up the river. Them days, there was a lot of fish at the river. Boy, there was a lot of fish.
Not like today, right?
Well, what happened, this guy named Julie at the milk station, it's not on there right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
Just go ahead.
Then what happened is, well, we left on April 1st, 1918. There was snow, about a couple inches of snow on the ground. And we come down to the bridge by Noel Lafont's store. And then George Gamache was down there watching for fish coming up the river. The ice was all gone. Well, we went to the railroad station to take the train. I'd never ridden on the train before. And so we got the train. That was quite an experience.
Yeah.
Then we got in Burlington, got out of that big, huge railroad station. I'd never seen anything like this. We'd never left Champlain. Then we moved in with my aunt, Mary. She was on West Allen Street. And we were used to watch to see the streetcars come in. We'd never seen the streetcars. It was very exciting. Every time the streetcar come in, we'd run out. There's another one. My brother Delore. Delore was 8 years old. Then the fall of that year, when your father, my brother Clarence and I, we were on the railroad tracks with a little wagon. That was November 11th, picking up coal that fell off the coal cars, trying to build up a supply for the winter. And when the whistles start blowing, bells start ringing, we didn't know what was going on. We ran for home, and come find out that the war was over.
What year was that?
The fall of 1918, November 11th.
That was World War II?
Hmm.
World War II, right?
World War One.
World War One. Okay.
World War One. My God.
I'm not too much up on that.
That's
Bill.
World War One. Your father and me, he was about 6 years older than me. And we had a little wagon picking up coal that fell off the. Then days had a lot of coal cars. The American woolen mills used a lot of coal, and we were picking that coal along that fell off of that little wagon. We go home and go back with that. And we were way down there almost by the high bridge over the Winooski River when the whistle started blowing. and the bells started ringing. We didn't know what was going on. We got scared and we run back home.
Yeah.
That's when the end of the
I
war.
think they did the same thing in 1947 or something like that when the war ended then too. You remember that?
But not like that them days. There was a lot of whistles and bells, everything going. They were real celebrating.
So in other words, your mother cooked and ironed and did all the housework too, right?
The what?
Who took care of the stoves when you were growing up?
Well, everybody around, I guess everybody pitched in. Once I used to go with her when she was working for the Nyes. She'd take me with her. I'd fool around, play around with the girl there, Patricia Nye, she's about my age. And we would get the toys. The only toys we get is the toy that was left over from the year before. The Nyes would give us. That's the toys we'd get.
So that was your Christmases? What did you get for Christmas?
And we had a little tree on a stand, and my mother had clip little candle holders, a few candle holders here and there. In the evening, she'd light them up, and we'd be there looking at that, admiring that, and she'd blow them all out. She wouldn't leave them on too long.
No, 5-10 minutes?
That's right, yeah, because
You
there's
wanna
too
burn
much
the tree.
danger for fire.
That's right.
That's
So
before you had the lights like we have today.
your mother had a hard time bringing the
Oh
family
yeah,
up, right?
but she knew how to handle money.
So she
knew
left
and
you.
I learned how to handle money from her.
So she left you that legacy, now learning how to handle money, and she did all the cooking. And
She could cook.
where did you go to school?
She cooked at the Fanny Allen Hospital near Colchester, near the. And then she cooked also at the Gosbury Hospital when they first built it. She cooked there. She was a cook there. Now that Gosbury Hospital, it's something else is in there now. There's not.
Now, who taught you how to drive a car?
Who's what?
Who taught you how to drive a car and take care of a car?
Well, I was driving a car. I drove a car. I was 12 years old. It was a Model T, a 1914 Model T.
Who taught you how to do that?
We were coming from Canada. We had been come to Canada, and we got down to Mudson's Flat, going back towards Winooski. So I don't know, about 8-10 miles from Winooski. And it was, at them days, all mud. The roads weren't like that today, and there was a lot of cars stuck. So they figured they'd go off the road a little bit, so I got to driving it. And for your father and my brother Euclid, they got in the back, and as I was going out, they'd push, and we went around, and we saved $2. They was charging $2 with a guy with a tractor there to pull the cars out. And I drove it from there to Winooski.
Did you get to go see your relatives often?
I suppose when we went down to New Hampshire, we drive up this way probably every 2-3 weeks.
Oh, and how did you get your mail?
And Euclid had a car, and he was working there in St. Claremont, but he was foreman in the woolen mill in a card room, and that's where I work, in a card room. We're working nights, so you get off on Saturday morning, and you had till Monday night, so you had 3 days there.
Right. So how did you get your mail, Uncle Bill?
I got the mail?
How did people get their mail in the old days?
What do you mean?
Did they have a postman deliver your mail?
No, they delivered mail to the houses.
They did?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Way back in the early 1900s?
Well, 1900, it was 1923, 24. I worked in the cotton mill. I was 14 years old. It was the summertime. Chase Cotton Mill. Then when I got out of school, I was 15 years old. I went to work at Lakeside Cotton Mills in Burlington. I worked there for 1 year, then got laid off. The work was getting slacking down. Then my brother Euclid says, come on down here in Claremont. Said, probably get a job working nights, where he was. So I had a little cardboard box. I didn't have no suitcase or nothing. Cardboard box, I put a few clothes in there, took the train, went down. I was 16 years old.
Wow.
Got to work there. I would start working in the woolen mill at 16 at night, 12 hours a night, 60 hours a week for $20. That was a lot of money. I worked in the cotton mills, Chase Cotton Mill for $6 a week. Then the night shift closed. They closed the night shift. That big depression was gradually creeping in. They started in Europe. The big depression we had in '29. So we moved back to Burlington. And we existed there till spring, and I got a job working at carrying bricks in a hod. They were building the chapel at UVM. And I went there. There was in early spring. There was snow on the ground. I got a job. There was 2, 3, 4 others with me when we were there. That was the only one that went back the next day. Boy, it was rough. Next day morning, you get up, you're sore, you can hardly move. But after a while, I was running up the ladders, 20 bricks to a load. You know, that's 80 pounds of bricks plus the weight of the. That wasn't too big then, but I made it. I stayed there till snow was flying on the ground. I carried probably 400 bricks in that building.
Did you go to church on Sunday?
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't been to church for some time now, but them days we used to go to church all the time. My mother was strict for that, boy.
Oh yeah.
She was strict for that.
And how was your birthday celebrated?
Who?
Your birthday. When a birthday came along when you were a little boy, did you get a birthday present?
My mother, no, we didn't have no, but my mother always made a birthday cake.
You always had a birthday cake.
Always a birthday cake.
So you had a little party. Did you
Once in a while, there should be a little kid around, like Omega Mash probably around.
And how did you keep cool in the summer times?
Do what?
How did you keep cool? Now you don't have air conditioning then back there, right?
Keep cool.
Yeah, how did you keep cool in the summertime?
Well, we didn't, but the heat didn't bother us then at all them days. I don't know. It doesn't bother me today, but they tell me to keep out of the sun.
You did have one big storm, a flood down in Champlain at one time, right?
Well, but we were living down the village. Well, the big flood that they had was, I think, was 1911 or 1912, something like that. 1911, 1912. Well, you see picture in there, the buggies going through the village. My mother said that there was 4 feet of water, big ice cakes that come through the village. You could see where they hit the buildings. There's a mark, the height of the water. But there was also that flood that they had here. I remember 1945, 44, 45. We were living down to the cupboard, where the cupboard. I don't know if you remember where the cupboard was.
Yes, I do.
We were living upstairs and had the flood then, but that was a big one. There's pictures I think you've got.
Yeah, I have the
You
pictures.
get copies of that.
Yeah.
I got a whole pile of snapshot of that
You
flood.
do?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got the only one, like Bob Venn looked at him and said, you know, that's the only picture of the old grist mill that you got. Nobody else, there's no other pictures anywhere at that grist mill that was there. I remember the grist mill going in there when it was running
That's something.
in 1917. Because they used to come from Canada to have their grain ground there. My uncle Camille Duto used to come down to have his grain milled there, right in back of Raymond Bedor's shop down Mill Street. It's Mill Street.
Who taught you how to swim, Uncle Bill?
The what?
Who taught you how to swim?
Swim? Taught ourselves.
Taught yourself?
Yeah.
Right. Did you have a lot
went
of
all
friends?
by ourselves. There was nobody. We went alone. But my kids, I brought them out. I have nobody to take me. We had to learn alone.
Right.
You have to be careful. We were careful.
Did you have a best friend when you were growing up?
Yeah, I think a friend in Burlington, Max Graham. We call him, he was named Pat, and he had a brother Ike. It was Max and Rex Graham. And I was with him all the time. We used to borrow a couple of Shetland ponies from Colby Richardson, and we used to ride on Shetland ponies. No saddle, just bareback.
Did you you went to school though, huh? What grade did you go to?
8th grade.
8th grade. Was it a one-room schoolhouse?
Well, I went to one-room schoolhouse in Canada when we were there for my grandmother was sick. We went there for about 3 months.
Now you're talking about Mose Duquette, Emily Duquette. Your mother's mother is Emily Cousin Duquette. You're talking about her when she was sick.
Yeah, she was sick. That's her. Yeah.
Where did she die?
So we figured we'd come back around after. I remember going to midnight mass at St. Claude, I think it was. We went to midnight mass in a sleigh. And then after Christmas, my mother decided she said we might as well go back. She said she might be here another year. We don't know.
Where did she die from?
At the old age, I guess. I don't know. Them days, everybody worked hard, you know. But my grandfather used to go to school, no shoes. He'd carry shoes with him. He'd run quite a ways, and Then he'd warm up his feet in a blanket he carried, and he'd go to school barefooted,
Wow.
no shoes.
Did you ever find a coin in the river?
A what?
A gold coin in the river?
Yeah, not in the river. That was in Nye's sawmill mill race where the water comes out.
Right.
We were there. That's the Nye sawmill. It's right in the village, but it's gone now. We were moving stones to make a little bit more water. And I had water. You know what I had for watering? 2-gallon syrup cans with a little ring to hold the gallon cans. And we take moving them stones, and all at once that coin popped up. It looked like a penny to me. You know what the heck I knew at that time? I was 10 years old. That was 1917. And there was Pauline Robert was there, and Hazel Robert, but they were about 3-4 years older than me. They were quite a bit older than me. Their father was a sawyer in the mill. And I think, I don't remember if Homer Gamache was there. There was a couple other kids there. So I grabbed that penny. Oh yeah, I took off and run for home. And I went out the house, I showed the mother, I said, look, found a penny. She looked at it. So that's not a penny. I said, what do you mean? She said, that's I don't know what it is, she said, but it's not a penny. She said, I'll put it away for you. So she put it away, and when I got to be interested in that stuff, you know, collecting coins, she gave it to me. In 1808, at 2.5 gold piece. But it's all pretty well worn from the water, you know, washing in the water, going by there. Been there since probably 1810, 1812. But that mill was there a long time. So the sawmill, I got a book here that tells you the first sawmill that around here, when they were built, when the village was. You want me to get the book? I'll show you.
Okay.
Put that on.
You seen a 12-minute one? See, I did one too myself. This one's an hour and a half.
Wow.
Let's see.
Let's see. The first sawmill, 1787.
1787.
in the county, and this is the coin. Now, what year was that again, Uncle Bill?
I think it's 1808.
1808 that you found. In what year?
It was 1917, summer of 1917. When we were moving stones so we could get a place to be able to swim.
Now it says on here, 18, looks like 1813, but.
Maybe it's that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Jimmy.
It's hard. Come on,
Yeah.
Jimmy.
What's that?
Look on here.
Now, what's the date
No,
on
no,
there?
no, you can't see there. You have to do it this way. Put it back down.
Back down a little bit then.
Down, down. I mean,
Is it 1813?
I don't know. It's or 1815. Or
Let me look at it this way.
it's worn.
Oh, it could be 1802? It might be a zero there.
It's hard to tell.
It might be a zero
Well, that
there.
far that from the books I had, they didn't make it in 1802.
It looks like 1802, but I don't know.
It's possible.
I don't know.
and this is Jimmy,
Oh, you filming?
one of the youngest sons.
Hi.
Jimmy, how old are you?
39.
Okay, thank you.
Now I'll leave.
This is the house,
Were you-
the collection of things that Uncle Bill has accumulated through the years.
Were you able to get that okay?
Yes, I did, Uncle Bill. You'd be surprised. Okay, let's get back to our interview, okay? Let me get you back in here.
What's this here?
Okay. Now, how many years have you been married, Uncle Bill?
How many years?
How many years?
Right now, 1958. Two more years, it'll be 60 years. So 58 years.
58 years?
Didn't you come to our 50th wedding
Oh,
anniversary?
yes, I went to the 50th. But I'm doing this for the video, remember?
I think it'll be 58 years in August the 30th this year.
So what year was that you were married? 1940?
1941, August the 30th, 1941. And Barbara was born, the first one was born August the 19th, 1943. Almost 2 years later.
Oh, well, good. And where did you meet your wife?
Hmm?
Where did you meet your wife, Aunt Frances?
Where I met her? In Champlain here. Her father came up from New Jersey, and he was sent up here by General Motors to straighten out Arsène Tremblay with his books. He was in trouble with his books. Arsène Tremblay, the garage, you know, the cars, all that
Right.
stuff. And they had sent him up here to straighten him out because he had gone to Syracuse University, and he knew how to handle books and check like that.
Now, how did you propose to Aunt Frances?
Hmm?
How did you propose to Aunt Frances?
How did you propose to her? She was working in an hotel at Secondega. She worked there in the summertime. And I've been going out with her for about a year. I met her on a blind date. There's Steve Longton was going out with her sister Mary, and they were both working in Port Kent. So he was going down there one night to pick him up because the season was over. So he said, "Come on with me." He said, "She has a sister that works there." So I said, "Okay." So I met her there, and that's the way I met her.
And how old were you when you got
At
married?
the time, I was about 32 years old, a little over 32.
When you got married?
No, I got married. I was 33 years old, 7 months and 4 days.
Wow, you got good
33,
memory.
7 months and 4 days.
What surprised you the most about Aunt Frances after you got married?
What do you mean?
What surprised her? What surprised you most about Aunt Frances?
I don't know. She's different. I mean, she's a nice slim girl. I don't like them too fat. I go always for the slim one.
So that's your favorite story about your spouse?
I never went out too many before that.
Uh-huh. Now, what memories do you have of the wars?
You mean
All your memories, do you remember the wars?
girls,
The war.
the boy?
The wars. Like the First World War, Second World War.
Well, the First World War, like I told you, when we were out there picking up coal, I was with your father. Like that, I'll never forget it. And the Second World War, I was registered for the draft, the Second World War. And then they were going to close the plant, and I was only one, me, and there was Alda Bringenberg and me. That's the only one that was left in the plant. And Alda says to me on a Monday, says, "What we're going to do?" He says, her brother had left, you know. Henrik had left, says, "This place is going to close for the duration." So that afternoon we got a call from the Masons in Peru that they wanted to subcontract some work, that they had a big contract with Camp Drum when they fixed it. So I drove down there, and they gave me a bunch of blueprints. So I brought back and started working on them, figured out things that, and we ended up, we made out pretty good. We made all the ladders, the shelvings, the mess tables, made hundreds and hundreds of mess tables, and shelvings and ladders and ventilators for the ceiling, and we even made cabinets for the kitchen. Then we went into making skis for the government.
Skis, I
We got
remember
a contract with 36,000 pairs.
I remember
And we
that.
had to get set up for it. I had to make presses, I had to make everything. I designed the presses.
Which presidents did you vote for?
First president,
Which is the first president you voted for?
Al Smith.
Al Smith. And what's the next one?
The next one, FDR. Franklin Roosevelt.
Okay.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
And then after that?
After that was, came up there, it was after that, I think that Truman came out, after that, after Roosevelt died, Truman took over. Then it was crap, I can't remember the next one. So Gerald Ford, there was Eisenhower, Coolidge. I never voted for Coolidge because I wasn't voted, I was not old enough. But I went to Coolidge just Coolidge's homestead in Plymouth, Vermont. I
You
went to his
did?
place.
Oh, did you like it there?
I went to, not the homestead, but I think his uncle's place. His uncle, Coolidge, named by the Queen Coolidge too. I'll never forget it. Walking in there, went in the living room, and they had in the corner they had a bobcat stuff. Never forget that.
Really? Now that's President
That was
Coolidge?
that was in 1925, December 1925.
Wow. So did your family have any hardships at all after you got married?
Any what?
Hardships.
No. No. Well, I always worked, and I was always fortunate in a way that I get a job, because when we came back from Burlington in the spring of 1927, I got a job. My brother Clarence was working down here for Albion LaFont in the garage, and he told me, go see Bringbird. He said, maybe you get a job there. So on a Monday morning, I went there to see him. He said, come in Wednesday. So the following Wednesday, I went in, and I worked there 40 years.
Wow.
I managed the plant for 25.
Yeah.
After he left, the Bringbird left there, I took over and I ran it for 25 years. Boy, we made a lot of stuff. Made toboggans, skis, hockey stick, chairs. We made displays for Pal Blade in Plattsburgh. We made 40,000 displays. I never saved one. That little bit things like that with a little plastic front, with a blade and a little jewel on the pad in there. We made 40,000 of that.
Now, in your opinion, Uncle Bill, what's the greatest inventions that ever took place since you've been born?
The greatest invention?
Greatest invention?
Well, I'd say it, TV.
TV?
There was no TV when I remember when the radio first started coming out, but it wasn't very good. But I remember building my own one-tube radio. I know a guy in Champlain, Henry Garso, had a drawing to a radio. So he gave me the drawing, and I made a one-tube radio. We used 2 tri-cell batteries. Now you got Florida one night
You did?
during the winter on one tube. But that days there wasn't many stations around 1928. There wasn't many stations.
What is the greatest advances in science since you've been born?
Oh boy. Electronics, that's the main thing today. Everything is electronic. Everything is electronic.
What would you say is the funniest thing that ever happened to you?
Boy, I don't know. I don't know the funniest thing.
Did you ever have a time in your life that was a favorite time for you?
No.
Your whole life has been very...
Oh, I have so much to do all the time. I never have enough time to do. I used to sleep about 5-6 hours a day, no more.
And a wonderful family.
Yeah.
What do you contribute your longevity to?
Work. Don't be afraid to work.
Okay.
My God, but when we first came back down there, we had making $12 a week. Now you had to start trapping in the fall of the year. We used to make $25-30 a week trapping.
What would be the most single piece of advice that you would want to leave your children and grandchildren?
Treat everybody like you treat yourself. And learn how to handle money. It isn't the amount of money you make that matters. It's how you do what you do with it if you get it.
Is there any other things in your life that are important to you that you want people to know about? Any other thing that's important to you that you would want somebody else to know?
I don't want somebody else to know?
That you want somebody else to know?
Well, I don't know. Just work hard, get a good press, and eat well. Don't eat too many junk foods.
Do you still have all your own teeth, Uncle Bill?
Huh?
You still have all your own teeth?
No.
But you had all your own teeth till when?
I was about 60 years old before I start using them.
And you got all your own hair?
Oh, I got a lot of hair.
Boy, that's great. Not many people can say that today.
Well, you know, I haven't worn a hat since 1930.
Maybe that's why. If you wear a hat...
My kids here, like Bruce wears a hat, at top of his head standing bald. Billy's the same way. Don't wear a hat, never. I went up 20 below zero, go skating and skiing. There we're at.
Did you ever go skating and skiing on Lake Champlain?
Yeah. I used to do a lot of skating in Champlain here. I used to play hockey. And I've done some skiing in Lake Placid. I remember one time going up what they call Scott's Cobble. They didn't have these toes that you get to sit on, and go up them. They had to hold onto a rope. And I went up there with my brother Delor. When we got to the top, Delor looked down, he took his skis off, he walked back down. I went down. That's Francis, she saw me. Francis was there. That time I went down. I go down there 60 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
And the bank looked just like that. Where is he, Francis? You remember that, Fran? We were in Lake Placid. When I went up there with Delor on the rope too. And he took his skis down, he walked down. And remember I came down? I had the little icicles on my hair all around it. Who was with us at the time? Was that was Orville Champlain with us? Somebody else? They wouldn't dare go down there, none of them. I was a pretty good skater.
And
pretty good swimmer.
Now where did you retire from, Uncle Bill? And what age?
Well, I retired from, my God, that's 20 years ago. After I worked from the ski shop, I worked at Anchor Motor Freight for about a year. Then from there I went and worked at North Country Golf Club. And that's where I quit working from there. I quit after that and worked.
How old were you then?
Well, I was about 74, 75. I was pretty good shape, yeah. Even I was pretty good shape, yeah. I was
You're
about
still in
70.
good shape.
Eh?
You're still in good shape. Now, do you still drive a car?
Yeah, the car right there. Sometimes I got that one, sometimes I got another one. I get the car for nothing.
Good for you.
Bruce owns 3 cars. He leaves one here, that Bronco. Sometimes he leaves another one. He's got a Grand Ham. Boy, that's a nice car. Everything is electronic. Everything. You know, you can tell, look down there, you know where you're going, east, west, south, where you are. You know where you are all the time.
How many grandchildren do you got?
Oh, God. I don't know what. Are they all in the book here?
How many grandchildren you got altogether?
It's in the green book there.
You don't know
About
offhand?
15.
About 15? How many
Well, more than that,
great-grandchildren?
Fran, there's 22, 23 grandchildren, minimum. And there's great-grandchildren, we got, there was 2 of them. 3 of them born this year. Was there Jason?
4.
There's David's daughter there,
Nadine?
Nadine. Then there's,
There's 18.
and then there's Kim.
18 grandchildren?
There's Kim's got how many?
4.
Kim, that's our great-grandchildren, just one's got 4.
Wow.
And then Nadine's got one, that's 5. Jason's got one, that's
7
6.
great-grandchildren.
Jason, 8.
8 great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
And they're all healthy. None of them ever, they're all living. Everyone that our grandchildren, the great-grandchildren living.
That's wonderful to hear.
I know it. I know that there's over 20 grandchildren. Every year I give everyone a coin, like a proof set or an uncirculated set that it runs into hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Well, how come you never gave me one, Uncle Bill?
My grandchildren,
Yeah,
great-grandchildren.
I like that too for my genealogy.
I'm the only one that does that.
I know.
Decide all the other things we give them.
I know it.
Every birthday, everyone gets $5. Everyone, grandchildren, our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, all $5.
Good for you.
We might as well get to them. We've got more money coming in we can spend.
Well, good for you.
And you know, that's why I know how to handle money.
Good for you.
I had a guy that there was Tom Marlowe and another fellow was with him one day, and